So, without further ado, I'm gonna get right into it. I think I'm gonna start it off with a bong rip. So I'm gonna start it off from like right here. So, this story is actually one that is fucking crazy. I've had a lot of people ask me to do life stories. I got into WeedTube because I loved listening to life stories. You know, Luna, Xcode. So, I'm like, damn, I most definitely have to do my own life stories. And I actually do have a fuck ton of stories that are like, that kind of crazy type shit, like, I don't know, more like teenager type stories, but I'm so baked throughout all of those memories that, like, if I try to think of one of those life stories, like, it's a little harder, and I just want to get this one out there, have one posted, and hopefully the stories will start coming back more. But it's weird, I guess I haven't been really thinking back much, so when I got the question saying, you know, post up a life story, and I looked back, this was like the only thing that really stood out in my head, and it was that time that I rode the fucking Tesla Model X. It's a crazy ass, weird shit that went down, and it happened right after I rolled in back from New York. I basically, well, yeah. So I don't know how, yeah, I'll start it there. I don't want to start it any further back. I get back from New York, it was my trip for last year. It was a whole fucking thing, it was crazy. I rented an A7S for a week, the model before this one, and I was just so excited to have that camera that I shot as much as I possibly could. So that included a local guy, business owner person who had a sick ass convertible. I shot a video with him at midnight, one of the nights before I left for New York. So this is back in April 2016. Film video for guy with a car at midnight. Then the next week I go to New York with my uncle. It was a fucking crazy time. Like, my little cousin was looking at colleges, so he was taking her around, and then I was just like chilling out, and then we stopped by Massachusetts, get lit up with my childhood friends and stuff. So crazy whole thing. Get back from that, and then like that week I shoot like a Destination Imagination, but it's kind of feeling different. Like, back from New York, I'm kind of like reevaluating my life, like, oh, is this the path, kind of like that whole kind of vibe. And then what popped up was the dude that I shot the video for, right? Like the guy right before I left for New York with the car. Because I shot that video, and I just did it because it sounded fucking awesome, and because I only had that camera rental for a week, so I shot as much cool shit that I possibly could. But just because I made that video for him, he like made a call in with his friend out in Jamestown who just bought a Tesla Model X, and the people local in town, or I guess I don't want to name drop that much. Anyways, small town, small ass state. There's not that many people at all. So just by helping like one cool dude, that already put in a huge ripple effect. And so this was a weird thing that all stemmed from shooting that one awesome free video for that guy, because it was just a fucking awesome time. A guy was like letting me sit in his convertible and shit. It's like crazy. So right. And then like somehow through all of this, that week back from New York, I also get invited to like a TEDx where it's like, there's only like 100 people or something, because that company wanted me to do like their content, and then I think after Stone Alone popped up, they're kind of like, ooh, to me, so whatever. Anyways, I'm at this, here's the X. It's the actual thing from that. Anyways, so that was crazy. So at that TEDx, it was that night, like getting pretty late, honestly. And we were all eating the food, and then the girl walks up to me and she's like, all right, so you're ready for tomorrow, right? We're gonna head out to Jamestown and shoot this Tesla video. And it's like, holy fuck, this doesn't even sound like real life. Yeah, sure. And then go home. I think I smoked a joint on the way back, lit up as fuck. And then at that time, my tolerance was so low because I just couldn't smoke during the day. It was like so much crazy shit happening. And then I'll get home at the end of the day and get baked to oblivion, like at least like a 10 every night, basically. So, holy shit, this was a crazy time. I was 16 this whole time. I was a 16-year-old dropout, and during this whole time, all my teachers and shit would ask me, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'm like, well, you know, honestly, I just want to make videos. And they're like, well, what do you really want to do? And then, so, flashing forward to this being 16, dropout, all the teachers and stuff were like, no, you can't do that. But in this environment, everyone's like, oh yeah, you can do that. And it's like, what the fuck? And then, so the next day, I wake up. I think it was pretty early in the morning. You know, had to get myself up by listening to J. Cole's Love Yours. That's my song for that. And then head over. The weirdest fucking thing happened. So I parked the car close to this building. It's a workspace kind of thing. And I walk on in because I have to drop off my camera equipment. It was a 90-minute parking spot. I don't want to walk like a mile with it all. So I walk inside, I drop the camera stuff off, and within the 4 minutes of me walking upstairs and like dropping my camera stuff off and walking back downstairs, somehow a window company drove behind my car and dropped out a giant pane of glass right behind my car. So there's a pile of broken glass right behind it. But I was like, I don't give a fuck, like I don't have time for this. So I get my car, I just drive over the glass. Like I didn't even have a second thought. I just had to. I mean, a lot of other people had to too, but like, what the fuck? Like in the few minutes it took me to walk upstairs and back, I'm like, that wasn't there before. Like there's just a pile of, so I back up all the way over, just drive off, park in the mile away, like 4-hour parking spot, or like the, I don't know, just like a not regulated parking spot. Run back inside, and then the second I get in, they're like, all right, you ready to go? All right, let's go. And then we just like get into her car and then fill up with gas and we're on our way. Like, that's how fast it is. And it's like, I think it's really hilarious because right now it's different. It's literally just from this 1 year ago. This was April 2016, and right now is March 2017. In this tiny little period of time, it's already changed because in this moment of time, I was the only stoner. So I feel like the story might be like kind of fucking crazy, but like I think if nothing else, that's hilarious as shit. It's just like, I was always so awkward and stuff, but it worked out because I would shoot the videos, and like, I remember we were talking about crazy shit like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and then she got real deep with it because she believed in God, and then she's like, do you believe in God? And I was like, and I was like, I wasn't even chill either. Like, that's the funny part. Like, now I'm wasn't even chill. I was like, at all. So, I don't know, I think that was kind of funny. And then she killed it, like Thrift Shop comes on. Dun, 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 and then she just like kills it. Like, road trips are fucking awesome. Takes like 2 hours, and then we get into this town, and like, that's why I fucking love North Dakota. Like, this place is literally like a field. Like, there's a train track, and then we passed like 4 cars, and every single car was a pickup truck. Like, we just passed pickup truck after pickup truck, and that was kind of like that. And then so she kind of says that, she's like, how much do you want to bet that the next car is also a pickup truck? Like, they're just all pickup trucks. And then the next car pulls up, and then we're like, what the fuck is that? Because it was the Tesla. Like the town's so small that we were in it for 5 minutes, and we're like, damn, there's a lot of trucks here. I bet they're only trucks. And then we just ran straight into the Tesla X right away. Cause he was such a cool dude. He was letting some other dude drive it around and stuff just to fuck around with it. So, I'm glad I wrote this down in order. Otherwise, this would have taken hours probably. So, we show up. He gives us a quick tour. he has a dope ass like startup type office, you know, it's really clean, bright colors. There's a UPS poster on the wall where they had a photo shoot with him for UPS at some point. Fucking crazy. And I should mention, I guess, what this is at this point. I was just wearing the t-shirt last night, and he was at Real Truck at that time. So he's like, he stepped down from it now, but basically he started this company from scratch where he sold truck parts to people. But it started out really, really like garage size small. But now it's like 100 million a year in revenue, which is fucking crazy, like car parts. And that was all just because his customer service, like he cared so much about the customer that he'd go out of his way to help them. And then they just spread his word of mouth so fast that just like right now he's killing it, or his company's killing it. His preview, you know what I mean. And so he shows us this awesome place, and he's just like the nicest guy, hair down to here, talks like a really like stoner kind of style. And like at that time, whew, I was just so happy to have that and meet this dude. And then when the tour's over, he just goes, all right, check it later. I gotta hop into a meeting right here. And then we're like, oh, okay. So we just thought we would like hang out in the waiting room or something. But then he looks at me and he goes, all right, have fun with her. And then he goes, boom, and he fucking pops over the key to the Tesla X. And it's like, what the fuck? What? And the key isn't even a regular key either. It's a toy car. It's a toy model of the actual car. And if you push the door on it, it pops the actual door open like with the scissor doors. And then if you touch the hood pops open. But since it doesn't have an engine, the hood is a trunk. So you pop the hood open, it's a giant trunk. And then like you can only close it with a human touch. Like you can't slam it closed. You have to like use your palms. And then like, but then we're just out there. He's like, fuck, I can't figure out the. He asked me to try to figure. Anyways, yeah. So he pops the key over to me, and this is where things would be different now. If I was in that position right now, I would have like ran up to the car, skirt the fuck out of there, and like. But at that point, it was just like. It would have been a bad idea anyway, so we just kind of like sat in the car and stuff. But he definitely meant for us. He's like, he got in the car later, he's like, oh, why didn't you take it for a ride? And it's like, this guy was too cool. Because I should mention that he spent $140,000 on the thing. He paid for it a year earlier, and it was finally ready to ship. And 3 days after the announcement, it was unrolled into his lot. And then he says he connects it to his house's Wi-Fi. Anytime he parks it by his house, it uses the Wi-Fi to update itself by downloading like OS updates, which is like a fucking crazy phone computer thing. And there's even people in town, like this other dude I know, where he said just in the year that he's owned his Tesla until now, it's like all the shit in his car, like it wasn't there before. Because the hardware was there, but they just didn't update the software. So now, like, if they come up with some new crazy patch or something, they download it straight through the Wi-Fi overnight. And he gets in his car the next day, and it's like, oh, new features added. Like, what the fuck? This is like literally like Tony Stark level shit. And like, I couldn't believe it. They even had a windshield that went all the way up past this point, because normally it ends here, just so that you could have a better view of the sky. And like, it also held 8 people while looking slick as fuck and having scissor doors. And when you just walk up to it, it opens up the door. You sit down, you don't even have to fucking start it. It's already, like, you just put your foot on the brake, and then by the time you let go, it's already, everything's good. So like, you don't even have to pull out a key or do anything. You just walk and sit down, and then you're driving, and then like, it tells you the miles, it tells you the speed limit, because it uses cameras to sense its surroundings, and then it looks at speed limit signs, and then it shows you in your little dash, where normally there's like your gas gauge and shit. It's a giant, beautiful ass screen with a bunch of shit, and you look over here, and it's like an iPad, but it's like it's like, okay, I don't want to say the wrong number. It's huge as shit though. It's like this big, really nice touchscreen. It's not gimmicky or anything. And then like, it's got everything. You can dual screen even, have Google Maps on the bottom, have like different settings on the top, and it automatically goes to tesla.com if you open the browser, but you can change its settings from there, like all this shit. And he's like driving us around and showing us like impossible stuff. And then I mentioned that we're in North Dakota, right? So this isn't like he's some big city living. Like there's no people around whatsoever while he's showing this to us. And then he pulls up to the street and he's like, all right, this used to be an airport strip, but you know, like no one cares. Like you can just like use it. And then he turned on ludicrous mode in the Tesla X. This is how fucking awesome that Tesla is. Tesla is so awesome that they even added a ludicrous mode into the car where it went 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds. It was like, it doesn't seem possible, which is why I'm so glad that I got video of it. It's just, it was ridiculous. And, so yeah, then, but, yep. Then after that, he basically just kind of took us back. You know, we kind of got our shots, and that's how fun it was that we could just get it all in like an hour and just go like boom, boom, boom. And I kept saying like, holy fuck, I can't believe that I'm here. This is crazy. And then like the reporter, she's, you know, or the writer, she just says, well, you showed up. And that was it. In that moment, they're like, fuck, you know, the Tesla X just came out. We want coverage on this. And people want like video. And when they looked around, they're like, who is out here that would just like for free go on a video shoot within 24 hours? And when they looked around at that point in time, there's literally only just me standing there. So that was so crazy, but just like, I don't know. Just had to show up. That was the crazy part. And it was just over right there, and we're like, all right, well, see you, Scott. And then he gives us fuzzy dice, and then he even gives us baseball tees, and I swear there's something else too, but like with the real truck brand on it, which is real as fuck. Like that was so cool. He let us sit in his Tesla. He took time out of his day to drive us around, and then he gave us stuff. But it was also because he was personally friends with the guy that I shot the dope car video with. So that's like, that was all part of it too, and like it was awesome. And right after that, we're like, all right, well, do you know where the world's biggest bison is? And he kind of points over to it because in Jamestown, this is the weirdest fucking thing, but I guess there's the world record for the largest bison statue or buffalo statue of all time, which is like, so I've seen it before. I saw it as like a 14-year-old or something, and I'm like, fuck, you gotta see this. And so we're just like lost as shit, scrambling around trying to find it. And this was the best part of the memory. Like, like it doesn't even make sense. Like all right, we got our work done, and our work was sitting in the Tesla and observing how awesome it was. But now that the work's done, for the rest of the day we can do anything. so we're just like driving around lost as shit, like trying to find the buffalo. Like, oh, I think I saw it over there, and like that's just the best part of life. Like, oh my. And I mean, I love smoking weed every single day right now, and like it's the best. But this is what I mean, like this is what's real in life, cause like that was so fucking chill. And then we wandered around until we actually found it, cause I mean it's pretty fucking big. And then I guess I don't know, it was just vibing super hard with that, because like I don't know, just all of it, like it's just I probably shouldn't even need to explain more of it, because just having experienced it was already just whew. So I guess yeah, from that point, check out the world's biggest bison, jump around, try to take some Snapchats. It's cold as shit, and we're like not wearing, we're just like wearing like sweatshirts and stuff, like freezing our asses off. And then like both our phones die, And we're like, oh shit. And then like, we get in the car and she's like, I want ice cream. And I'm like, fuck, I want ice cream too. And then we just wander around trying to look for ice cream in this like little tiny town we have no idea, like, not used to or anything. And then we actually do find ice cream in this gas station, and this is the funniest fucking part. Like, at this point, I had a really high image of like what was going on, and I was probably, I mean, I'd say I was grateful for everything, but like, I don't know. What was amazing was after all of that, right? Like seeing the Tesla X 3 days after it's out with the CEO guy of a company that's like 100 million in revenue, and like with this girl who's the head writer of the local whatever the fuck thing, and she's like writing the article. I'm like shooting the video for the stuff. But after all of that, what was like even more fun was just fucking around, like sitting in the gas station, eating ice cream and making fun of how shitty the toys were. Like, oh wow, that's called this, more like that. This is lame. It's not even like just like, it was such a weird thing though, because at the time I really did expect them to be a lot more like ho ho ho, and like it was just cool that we're all human. Like everybody's just human, and like just we get back in the car and I say, have you ever listened to The Life of Pablo? And she's like, oh no, that new Kanye album. And I don't remember when it dropped, but this is April 2016, new ass, fire ass drop. And oh my God, I forgot about all of this. I showed her The Life of Pablo for the first time ever, and it was just on Spotify, like just got on there, and we blasted it in this car, and she's just like this whole, you know, hometown Christian girl, and we're just like blaring Life of Pablo after riding the Tesla X and driving home to the sunset. Holy fuck, I can't believe this is a real memory. Like, what the fuck? That was awesome. Man. And I don't want this to be like a bragging type of life story. I think I really want to mention this because this was all because I worked like a motherfucker at that time. And I say that because I worked way harder then than I am right now. And like, I don't know. I think it was because I saw that this wasn't the route that I wanted to go down. It sounds petty. It's a fucking amazing life. But then I did kind of want to do like WeedTube kind of stuff more. So I kind of like stopped because it was like hard to do both. I just kind of like put that down. And then after this point, like literally like a couple weeks after this was when I completely stopped this kind of life and then started Stoned Alone. Like so this is really interesting to me. It's basically like I peaked. This was like my peak entrepreneur experience. I'll probably own other businesses in my life, but that's not, it's more like Stoned Alone's more like the thing I want to be like about kind of thing. And I can't believe it. I worked a lot harder back then than I do now, and as a result of that, shit like this was my everyday type of experience. Like what the fuck? That's crazy. And then we get back and like that. And another cool thing was like, I never mentioned that I was a stoner or anything, but totally had stoner type conversations, because that's what these entrepreneur types are totally down with too. So she was talking about God, but she was very open about it, and we're all taught. And it was like, that was the first time I was really kind of forming these type of like tripping theories. It was like before I ever tripped or anything. It was like first finally starting to see like that kind of perception. And so yeah, after that we get back. We go to the coffee shop, and it was like this big Christian fundraiser. She knew every single person. I was kind of standing there, it was like crammed, but I got free cookies there. So it was like, after all of that, it was like surreal. And then I was just standing there, and then it was like, wow, at least it's free cookies, like, thrown from, Tesla X, oh shit, biggest Buffalo ice cream, Life of Pablo, now free cookies here. And then like, I think from that point I just went home and I started slipping immediately, like just to show you, just to show an example. I didn't do anything with the footage for like 2 weeks, and they're like, oh, can we have the or no, it was more like a week. And they're like, so is the video gonna be done? Because I said it would be a week. And I was like, oh shit, so I edited it in like 2 hours because I was baked as shit. I get this like text, and I'm like, oh fuck, and I just like edit it in 2 hours and send them the video. So that's hilarious too, because that was when my effort started declining, because that could have been a way more insane video. And so I hope some of the footage makes it into this one. I hope this was a good life story. And I don't know. I guess that's what I have to say about that. And thank you for watching this so much. I will try to do more life kind of stories in the future. This was a really dope ass time. Just like re-remembering these memories, like, it was a whole different vibe back then. Like if I think back, if I kind of like put myself back into my shoes exactly on that date, life wasn't even the same thing. Like not even close to like, what the fuck, that's the same. And that's really cool. And yep. So yep. Alright, so if people are listening to the audio right now, thank you on the SoundCloud. I'm also streaming this live on the Instagram too. So I guess I could plug my stuff. I'm already, like, I'm trying to get myself to do more SoundCloud posts, but check me out. The Instagram's at stoned_y alone, and then like the Snapchat's at stone just like period alone, and like YouTube channel Stone Alone. So yeah, if you're listening to the audio, thank you for doing that. I had a good time sharing this story, and check you later.